My name is Jeff Miller. I am a research scientist at Miller Research. I also do cooperative work with the University of Idaho. I'm located in Rupert, Idaho, down in the Snake River Plain in the Magic Valley area. I do private contract research for several different companies. I also do work for the Idaho Potato Commission, and in that role we often will initiate research projects aimed at solving practical problems that growers have. So when Zebra Chip became a problem last year, there were a lot of questions about what insecticides they could use, when they should use them, how often they should spray them. And in our state, we had no direct experience, so we were relying on research from other places. This past year, 2012, was our first year doing, any substantial research. I helped participate with the University of Idaho monitoring network. And so I would go out and sample or swap out yellow sticky cards in one field, or help do vacuum sampling and collect leaves and send them on to Dr. Eric Weniger at the University of Idaho. At the same time, he and I also did a cooperative trial looking at several insecticide spray programs, and we're sorting through the results right now to see which ones were effective or most effective. My big interest, or the place I'd like to spend more of my time in the future, is working on different application methods. We've been told that you can put insecticides on through the irrigation water by chemigation. Yet I would estimate that about, in our pre-Zebra Chip days, probably close to half of all fungicide applications made in season went on through the water. It's less expensive. There are some drawbacks to it, but there's some benefits. And this year, as our pilots started mixing up chemicals to spray, they encountered all kinds of unintended consequences, such as products not mixing together. In southern Idaho, most of our growers are accustomed to spraying probably 3 to 5 times during the growing season, mostly fungicides. Now that we're implementing season-long insecticide programs, you're having to almost double that number of applications. So they're not going to make a dedicated application on the field to do a fungicide and one to do an insecticide. They're going to merge them together. And we found by sad experience that not all things play well together in the tank. And so we're trying to sort through what things can I mix. If I mix them and put them on, but can I put them on through the water if I mix them together? Would I lose efficacy that way? And so those are the areas of interest that I have in researching. Also continue to help with the scouting and the monitoring program to help the growers find out where the psyllids are. In 2011, we heard of one grower who had rejection due to Zebra Chip, and that was the year we realized we had an issue. This year, we detected psyllids pretty early. In June, we had our first ones. Our first hot psyllids came on in July. We found plants. We had tubers that were infected, positive detections before we even got to August 1st. So we feared the worst. And these were from a wide-ranging area. So our anticipation was at harvest we'd have a lot of growers that would have tubers that would have to be rejected. And that hasn't turned out to be the case. Most of the farms are reporting the Zebra Chip incidences around 1% or less. There have been a few, I know of 2 fields for sure that were rejected. But we're still sorting through that data. Additionally, we have a lot of potatoes still in storage, and so there may be more that come in the future. And the processors, McCain, Simplot, and Lamb West, have been very good so far about saying we want to work together. Our hope is that we have a steering committee there in the state that several in the university, myself, and several private consultants are all a part of, and we meet next week. And our hope is that we'll sit down together, and the processors and some of the fresh pack growers or organizations will be able to say, here are the different fields that we've run, and here's the percent of Zebra Chip in each field, and this is what they did to try to control it. And we hope that by looking at that, we'll be able to get a sense of what works well and what doesn't work well. The danger I see, the big challenge we're going to run into is many growers spent a lot of money this year, and then at the end of the year, they have less than 1%. And there were some growers who didn't do anything or did very little, and they have the same level as Zebra Chip. And I know what's going to happen is they're going to say, well, I didn't need to spend all that money. And the other thing that I think works against us in Idaho is that, at least I have been told by growers in other states or growers that farm in multiple states, in Idaho we have some of the lowest contract prices around. So when we look at trying to manage, or when a grower sits down with a banker and tries to make the spreadsheet go and only have so many dollars, they're going to say, well, if I have to cut money somewhere, the first place is, I'm not going to cut my fertilizer, can't cut my water, those two are a given. So now it comes down to crop protection. And so those are our worries. We feel that people are probably going to pull back next year, spray less, and I think we may have the potential to have a bigger crisis. So those are, I think, some of my concerns going forward.